Making money is super important in old school RuneScape. In this video, I'll be showing you some of the best AFK combat money making methods in old school RuneScape that can generate you some nice cash without requiring a lot of focus. Keep in mind that even though this video aims at AFKing, your profit per hour can still vary depending on how AFK you execute the methods. I will also not be going in depth for each method because that would just take too long. But I have already covered some of these methods more in depth in my Wiki to Wealth series, so make sure to check them out if you want to. They will be linked in the description. Let's begin with the first method, which is fighting Vyrewatch Sentinals. Located in Darkmire, these vampires can make you some nice coins without putting in a lot of effort. You can get here quickly with the Drokan's medallion, which can also be used to bank at TOB. In order to fight the Vyrewatch Sentinels, you will need to complete the Sins of the Father quest, and you will also need level 43 prayer for protect from melee. You'll be killing these with melee using the Blisterwood Flail, which you already have from the Sins of the Father quest. Protect from melee will be up constantly, so the rest of the gear should pretty much just aim at a high prayer bonus. Armor such as Proselyte or the Sunfire armor is very good for this. And to make it more AFK, you can also use a Ring of Wealth to automatically pick up the coin drops. Doing this method, you can expect to make around 900k per hour. A large chunk of this money is coming from the Blood Shard, which is currently at 12 mil. This drop is pretty rare at 1 in 1.5k, so this is kinda one of those methods where you have to hold on until you hit big. And don't forget that there is an altar right next to the monsters, so you don't need to bring any prayer potions. The second method is a classic, being Gargoyles. So they are located in the Mortania Slayer Tower and have been a steady moneymaker for years now. To get here quickly, you can use the Slayer Ring, or you can also use the Fairy Ring with code CKS. Requiring the completion of Priest in Peril and level 75 Slayer, they are pretty accessible. If you want to AFK here, you will need the Gargoyle Smasher upgrade costing 120 Slayer points. This upgrade will automatically crush Gargoyles when their HP is low enough, which is essential when trying to AFK. However, you still need a rock hammer in your inventory, so don't forget that. Gargoyles can be killed with any combat style, however, melee will be the most cost efficient, so bring your best in slot melee gear. And they are weak to crush, so if you have a crush weapon, make sure to use that. The Zamorak and Hasta is a pretty decent low budget weapon for this. For lower levels, the Gutton's armor set can be used to heal up so that you never have to leave. Higher levels might be able to get away with just an Armadillo Godsword and some decent RNG. Depending on your combat level and gear, it's possible to make anywhere around 700k up to 1 mil profit every hour. The big drop here is the Granite Mole, which currently sells for around 800k, and since the drop table includes a lot of alcables, it's recommended to bring high alc runes to not miss out on a large amount of profit. The third method on the list is killing Skeletal Wyverns. These are one of my favorite monsters in the entire game to kill. They have satisfying drops and they look awesome. The Skeletal Wyverns are located in the Asgardian Ice Dungeon. The fastest way to get there is with the Fairy Ring code AIQ. There is only one requirement to kill these, which is level 72 Slayer. In order to make this method AFKable, you will fight them with ranged. There are various safe spots all around the dungeon, and after you lose aggro, you will never take damage. Losing aggro can be done by being in the dungeon for 10 minutes, and the easiest way to do this is to just wait outside of the dungeon by the ice giants. There isn't really much to say about gear setup, just bring your best in slot ranged gear, and obviously the Dragon Hunter crossbow will be best in slot here. The profit per hour varies a lot here depending on gear, but you can expect anywhere from 750k to 1.5 mil per hour. Of course, the latter does require a Dragon Hunter crossbow, which is quite expensive. Overall, I'd say this method is one that takes some time to set up correctly, but once it is set up, you can pretty much stay here forever printing money, because a lot of the drops are stackable or dropped in noted form. To save inventory space, you can bring a bolt pouch as well as a herb sack to pick up the herbs. You won't be keeping the bones, so you can either bury them manually or use a bone crusher for some extra XP passively. If you're liking the video so far, make sure to subscribe, and if there's any monster that you think should be on this list, let me know in the comments. Moving on, the second to last method is one I've done many hours of myself, and that is Brutal Black Dragons. They are located in the Catacombs of Corinth and are a stronger version of the regular Black Dragons with a much better loot table. To get here quickly, it's recommended you use the Xerix Talisman to teleport to the Xerix Inferno. You will need to bank every once in a while, so also bring your closest teleport to a bank available. To kill these, you need level 77 Slayer and at least level 37 Prayer for Protect from Magic. Level 70 range is also the minimum to make this viable. With Protect from Magic and an anti-fire potion, you won't take any damage here unless you get into melee distance. Depending on your setup, you can consistently expect anywhere from 1.1 to 1.7 million per hour in profit. The Draconic Visage is the rare drop here, currently at 4.6 mil, so that's always something to look out for. Of course, the Dragon Hunter crossbow is best in slot here, so if you can afford that, make sure to use it along with your best range gear. The void equipment is pretty good here for if you're on a budget. The last and best monster in this video are Rune Dragons. These are probably the most consistent on the list due to their guaranteed rune bar drop every kill. To get to the Rune Dragons fast, you need a dig site pendant to teleport to Litgren. Just like with the previous method, you'll also need a teleport to a bank. The requirements are the completion of Dragon Slayer 2, as well as at least level 37 prayer for protect from magic, although level 70 for piety will be much better. High melee stats are also highly recommended. In order to make this method AFK, you'll want to use the full Justiciar armor set. Obviously, the Dragon Hunter lance is best in slot here and super important for optimal profit per hour. Insulated boots are also important because they drastically reduce the damage from their electric bolts attack. The potential profit while AFKing varies from 1.4 to 1.8 mil per hour, so this is definitely the best choice out there for the higher level accounts looking to make some change on the side. I'd also say that it's a bit more AFK than the brutal black dragons. The downside is that the requirements are pretty high and the gear to use here is not cheap at all. Just like the brutal black dragons, Rune Dragons also drop the draconic visage. They also have two other rare drops with the dragon limbs and dragon metal lump, although these are much less expensive. Those were all 5 of the monsters I wanted to discuss. I've listed them all on screen so you have a nice overview. They each have their pros and cons and everyone will choose a different method depending on your personal preference and the status of your account. If you enjoyed the video, then it would mean a lot to me if you would give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know in the comments what is your favorite way to make money. See you in the next one. Bye.